So this is Daniel Emanuel for the Morning Star Journal News, and I have a special guest with me. So can you tell us what's your name and what you do?
My name is Rob Hall. I direct the Ekballo School of Ministry in South Point, Hawaii.
And so Mr. Hall is here to share with us a little bit of what he does in the Ekballo House of Prayer and what happens in there.
So our vision for Igballo is to raise up leaders, the next generation of young people. Our first year class is basically to give them a grounding in the Word, to get them secure in their identity in Christ, to get their hearts healed, help them to learn to hear the voice of God and walk in full surrender to Him. The second year part of the school is more of a leadership training. They actually are discipling other people. They're leading some of the classes, they're leading worship, leading prayer sets, and putting into action what they learned during the first year.
So, Mr. Hall, what do you see God doing in Hawaii right now, where you're from? How do you see Him moving?
Well, we got to Hawaii thinking that we were going to, a very remote farming area, which it is, but we also learned that on the Big Island in 1830s, mid-1830s, there was a revival there that over 90% of the island was saved. A little village by the name of Hilo, 1,000 people in the village at that time. The church grew to 10,000 people, and they had a 10-year ongoing camp meeting type revival happening. This was in the 1800s. And so we went there not knowing any of this history. We started learning the history of Hawaii and realized there's a well of revival in Hawaii. It was said during that time that you couldn't go anywhere on the island, in the sugarcane groves, the banana plantations, without hearing people worshiping, singing, crying out to God. And not in church services, just doing their normal jobs, but just the praises of God going up all around the island. So we're praying, we're really believing that God's, what He's done before on the island, He's going to do again. So we're really praying into that.
And well, now since we're here at the Zen, what do you expect God to do with this move, with the Zen, basically?
We did an event, 7707 in Nashville. At the Coliseum like this, 70,000 people came. And we had prayed into that. I was praying for revival. I was praying that the Spirit of God would touch the stadium and that the bars would close down, that Nashville would be forever changed. The next day I was disappointed because the bars were still open and I didn't see what I was praying for. But over the years since then, I've met literally hundreds of people that were in that meeting at a stadium like this, and their lives were marked. They trace it back and say that was where I encountered God, and that was where the direction of my life was changed. So that's what I'm praying for this meeting here, this weekend. I'm believing that God is going to encounter this generation, these young people, that 20 years from now, they're still being impacted by what they encountered here today.